I believe that music is a link between students' inner selves and the world around them. Through music education, teachers can aid in the students' discovery through a nurturing, welcoming, and inclusive lens, allowing students to be themselves and use their own ideas while exploring and discovering new aspects of their own personality, life, community, and world. As educators, we are expected to have lesson plans that abide by strict guidelines from the state and national governments. These are set so that teachers will give the students the information that is expected of them through each grade level in their entire education. However, these guidelines are not as specific in regards to how teachers may provide these students with their information. It is commonly seen that lesson plans are structured in a way that to me is similar to an assembly line, in which teachers are the conveyor belt and the student is the worker. Teachers hand the students pieces of information that they put together to create a finished product identical to all other products created, and the process begins all over again. What I'm trying to describe is Paulo Freire's banking method. In Pedagogy of the Oppressed, Freire describes the banking method as a metaphor as well, in which teachers deposit information into the students that are empty containers who receive, memorize, and repeat the deposits. In this process, students aren't actively participating in the learning process. They're unable to have conversations with each other or dialogue with the teacher about what they're learning. I believe that teachers should structure our lessons in ways that allow students to take ownership of their own learning. In the book John Dewey and the Art of Teaching, it states, "The teacher plays critical roles in the learning process of the student, but, ultimately, only the student can learn for herself." We need to give students the proper learning environment that fosters a curiosity for learning and a willingness to explore. Not only that, but learning is a two-way streak. As I mentioned before, there is opportunity for dialogue between student and teacher. Frank Abrahams stated, "In critical pedagogy, not only do the teachers teach the students, but also the students in turn teach the teacher. This affects a transformation of both students and their teachers." Transformative learning is essential in the music classroom. Through dialogue and experiences in with the world, the knowledge learned in the classroom can become an impacting and changing force of the students' lives. We need to go beyond the typical musical understandings for music education to reach as a transformative power, and it needs to relate to the students' realities as individuals and as a community. What is unfortunate is that teachers who miss their opportunity to be transformative and have fallen into the ways of the banking method are typically teaching this way because they are basing it off of the way that they were taught and their own curriculum goals. One thing standing in the way is the teacher. We have come to believe that the maestro is the one who controls the musical world in the classroom. For us as music educators to learn about what is applicable to the students, we need to start embracing the challenge of learning with the students and seeing ourselves more as guides in the music making process. This may be the key for students to continue to make music for the rest of their lives. We hope that through transformative teaching, students will reach conscientization, or in other words, will know that they know. One might claim that when this happens, actual musical learning has occurred. Conscientization allows students and teachers to work together in connecting bridges to what is known and what is being discovered. But to help them to know that they know, we must be aware of how they learn. We need to have an awareness of the learning styles and strengths within our classroom while recognizing and assessing the needs of the students. Bernice McCarthy, creator of the format system, stated that learning is experiencing, connecting, reflecting, naming, acting, evaluating, and integrating. There are so many ways to teach a lesson to students, and different methods will work for or against students in different ways. It is important to use methods that speak to students' learning abilities and strengths while still improving the areas of weakness. I believe it is also important for teachers to recognize cultures of the community and open the door to the exploration of other cultures throughout the world for students through music. Volk states that all students, not just specific groups, should learn about the various cultures of the United States, and I agree. No one culture is more important or relevant than another, and to put a culture on the fringes is to marginalize them or to make them feel of lesser importance. In order for our students to understand anyone from any culture, students need to encounter beliefs, values, and environments of that culture. The musical environment that I grew up in was very Eurocentric, and I haven't had much exposure to culture other than my own. I want students to feel empowered by who they are and by the world of culture and diversity around them through world music learning. To achieve that goal of creating lifelong appreciators of music, we must acknowledge that the way that people are interacting with and experiencing music are rapidly changing and evolving, and we as music educators must evolve as well. Typically, the music created within a facilitated school environment is largely focused on classical, folk, and jazz traditions, but there is so much more music out there. Music that is actually relevant to the lives of the students we are teaching. Students are leaving music classes to join things that are more relevant and useful, like computer studies. In order to fulfill our dream of creating lifelong music appreciators or informed music consumers, something needs to change, or we will lose our programs under the impression that music is no longer relevant. Involving current music in the music curriculum can contribute to the student's ability to connect with and understand the musical ideas being presented, and could be one of your greatest educational tools. However, some teachers take that idea and use a bait-and-switch technique, in which the popular music is used as a motivational hook into a lesson that primarily focuses on classical or traditional school music. Incorporating pop shouldn't be merely a hook to get students into the classics, but it should be understood that there is ways to achieve our learning goals through the use of both, as long as there is an objective. We need to find out what they are playing on their iPods and Spotify playlists, and that might be the tricky part. But we can take what they appreciate in the music that they listen to, and then take the analytical and historical aspects of the music processes we have done in the past to give students the power to understand how to apply the stressed traditional ideologies to the music they know, love, and develop and participate in. A one-way ticket into understanding students is through great trust. I believe that teachers must be there as an open source of trust and understanding for students. In a medium that causes people to be so vulnerable and emotional as music does, it is essential that teachers are able to foster a feeling of empowerment through these emotions, and that they encourage students to be courageous in expressing their voice. Through this trust and acceptance of their own opinions and feelings, students will be more inclined to be themselves and to let go of inhibitions that could potentially keep them from discovering more about themselves and the world through music learning. With acceptance, love, and sincere personal interest at the forefront of the teacher's offerings to students, the students will in response reflect back to them the same, while having a willingness to take the teacher's hand in exploring a world of possibilities, open doors, and information. I have experienced that in my musical past, and I hope to give other students the same feelings and opportunities that I was given.